I know that some of you are struggling with the Milestone 2 and also Milestone 1 for our final project. Now, I know that the sensitivity analysis for NPV could be very overwhelming, especially when you have not completed the NPV yet. So let's look at what we have. I have actually looked at the spreadsheet and have redone it. So we have the discounted cash flows and payback period, which more reflects what we are supposed to learn this week or this module and what you're supposed to submit. I will, of course, upload it, and you will be submitting this one. So what I have done, I have looked at the template you are provided and pretty much went in and have given you comments, what's given, and how you arrive at the amounts. I have looked at the cash, it's given, the accounts receivable, those are given, inventory given, accounts payable given, net working capital, I have provided you with the formula. So it's accounts receivable, cash plus accounts receivable plus inventory minus accounts payable. And I have also set up the formula here for you. And then we have obviously net working capital, which is your, this is the change in net working capital, which is just simply change over year over year. Then you have net working capital over sales, so I have provided you with the formula. Now, what we have here is you have to, in order to do net present value, you have to have free cash flows. The way to do that, we have to arrive first at EBIT, 1 minus T, earnings before interest and taxes. Obviously, you have your earnings, and we assume the tax rate is 40%. Where are your earnings? Well, your earnings are operating profit. So you need to calculate it in this line. Plus your depreciation, we have to add back the depreciation. Do you have depreciation? Of course, it's given to you on this line 9. Then you have your last capital expenditures. Do you have your capital expenditures? You, of course, you do. And then you arrive at your free cash flows. Okay, what is free cash flows? Free cash flows is EBIT 1 minus T less your capital expenditures. Okay, so that's your free cash flows. Now, the terminal value, I think that's where a lot of you struggled. And I have provided a hint for that, which will be calculated here. And I've actually done the formula for you. As you can see, it is your free cash flow in year 2020 plus, because we assume that at this time you start growing the money at 3% and you start getting payback at 3%. So it's gonna grow in perpetuum. So you kind of end up with your free cash flow in year 2020 that's going to grow at 3%. And you are discounting it at 8.40% to 2010, to your beginning, okay? So that's why you have it here. In line extension, we have some initial outlays. You have your working capital and your net property, plant, equipment. Those, of course, are given. Well, let's continue. So, how do you get your free cash flows? You start with EBIT, as I explained. Then you add the depreciation, which you have right on top. That's given to you. Now, you have less change in net working capital and less capital expenditures. You need to take those out from your free cash flows because those are your expenses. Why is it called less? Because even though we calculated them and they are positive, your working capital and your change in net working capital, you have to put them as a negative. So see how I put E35 minus 1? That just indicates that it is minus 1, so this number will become negative because they are your expenditures essentially in the free cash flow. Okay? So then your free cash flow is going to be, and I gave you the formula, EBIT plus your depreciation plus the less. So these two numbers are negative. So you will add them. And effectively, as you know in finance, if you add negative, you subtract it. Terminal value 3%. This is a free cash flow in 2020 will grow. We assume it will grow in perpetuity. So it's going to grow at 3% at the end of year 2020 for this project. So I gave you a nice formula, but this is where you're going to go. So in year 2020, this will be your free cash flow for that year. You'll take that free cash flow and obviously grow it in perpetuity going forward. So you have the times 1.03. This is a simple annualized perpetuity. That's nothing you haven't seen before. Probably you have been taught this in FIN-630. This project line extension also has net working capital and initial outlays, which you will put in your year 2010, and they'll be negative because obviously it's outlay. So those will be the negative numbers that are given to you because you actually have to pay those initially. And then the discount factor, remember you have to discount based on the year. So this is your discount factor. You start in current year with 1, okay? This year, you will discount it as using this formula. So 1 divided by 1 plus R. Your R is the 0.8%. In own doll, it would be 9%. But here, so you would set it up as your formula. So 1 divided by 1.084. And then you have to grow it on, so this will be your first one. Now here you have to put it on power, okay? So you have to do power. So one way to do power, you can do the power formula, or you can calculate it separately, okay? I use power because it's easier for me. I just like to have everything right in front of me. So this will be your year 2, so you will do 2. And of course, you will do this going forward all the way to 10. Because again, you have to discount the cash. So the more in the future you go, you know, the more you discount. That's again from FIN-630, it's annuities. Here you will calculate present value, which is, I provided you. Once this all fills in, you will see the present values. Now this is with your, it's pretty much free cash flows times the discount factor, okay? And what does that mean? Well, this is your discounted free cash flows that are due in Milestone 2, okay? And as you can see, in year 2020, you have to add to it your terminal value, okay? So you will add these two and discount them together, but it's going to do it for you. Then you have another present value without the terminal value, and that's going to be used obviously for your net present value and net present value without terminal value. So these will automatically calculate. Now in Milestone 2, you have the cash flows that are including the terminal value. You have cumulative cash flows, which obviously you need to calculate, or maybe the formula is in. Yep. And you will have your results in years. Then you have your payback period, which you need to calculate for me, and 5-year cumulative EBITDA. And of course, you have your discounted cash flows, which, as I said before, once you have done your NPV analysis, you have discounted all your cash flows right here using your 8.40%. So that will be right here, okay? Then again, you need to calculate your cumulative discounted cash flows, and then you will have your payback. So the question in the discussion board was about the sensitivity analysis. It's NPV sensitivity analysis, and as I said, it's a lot of work. But once you have the spreadsheet set up, it's actually not that hard. You have I have done an example for terminal value 2% and discount factor 7.70 for the line extension. And see how what I did is pretty much I changed the terminal value here to 2%, and then I have calculated the new discount factor, and that pulled in new present values. And obviously I have a formula set up for net present value, so that net present value pulled up right here. So once you have the spreadsheet set up, calculating the sensitivity is not as difficult as it might seem. So I would like you to maybe consider giving it a shot. Try to calculate it on your own and see what you can come up with. I think it's a great exercise, especially when you have it nicely set up. Changing these numbers should not take you that long, okay? So I would suggest, try it and let me know if it works or not. I know the video is long, but I wanted to go through the spreadsheet and tell you what you have in there. So hopefully this will make it easier. If you have any other questions, let me know.